The Super Nintendo Entertainment System is known for having some of the most iconic video games of all time. But did you know it also has some of the strangest?
The system that gave us Super Mario World, A Link to the Past, and Mario's early years fun with letters is also home to games about asthma and biblical first-person shooters.
Thus, on today's video, let's take a look at 3 of the absolutely most mind-bogglingly weird games for the Super Nintendo. Welcome to Stuff We Play, your source for everything weird, adventurous, and retro, joined today by our friends at Pug Hoof Gaming. And on today's video, we're taking a look at 3 of the strangest games to ever be released for the SNES.
And to start off with, we have an absolutely baffling concept. So, whenever you think of dinosaurs, what comes to mind? Fierce predators scouring the land? Massive beasts battling out for dominance in a feast of blood and flesh? What about asthma and air pollution? No?
Well, apparently that's what crossed the minds of the good folks over at Wave Quest, who developed the game Bronkie the Bronchiasaurus, a side-scrolling platformer where you play as an asthmatic dino and are supposed to learn a bit about the inflammatory lung condition in question along the way.
The game seeks to teach this by having asthma facts appear before each stage. Furthermore, if Bronkie himself inhales any large amount of smoke in a stage, the screen will grow dimmer and dimmer until you use an inhaler, call for help, or die.
However, the game seeks to teach in another way as well. Now, what sounds most likely to you? The game is trying to teach through A, carefully crafting levels around different aspects of asthma, B, being packaged with a medical journal, or C, having really mundane random quizzes pop up in the middle of the stages. If you chose answer C, you'd be correct, unfortunately.
Also of unfortunate note is Bronkie's control. He has to make a strange ducking motion whenever he jumps, making any platforming a bit of a pain.
Furthermore, the music is not very memorable, and the graphics, though cute and cartoony in a way, seem to lack the pizzazz of other games done in a similar style, such as the Bunk games.
However, good game or not, this asthmatic dinosaur adventure is certainly strange, so it is an obvious pick for this list. Stranger still, this was part of a series of medical edutainment games published by Rare Systems.
Maybe one of their other games will make it onto a future list, such as the one involving diabetic pachyderms. Now, while these games are all very odd in premise alone, our next game is weird for an entirely different reason.
This is now. Everyone knows the benefits of exercise. Research shows that exercise reduces stress, increases self-confidence, makes you more productive, and actually adds years to your life. So why isn't everyone exercising?
Exertainment Mountain Bike Rally, released as Cannondale Cup in North America, is a mountain biking simulator released in 1994.
At first, it seems to be just another mediocre Mode 7 racer from the mid-90s. It has a rocking soundtrack and characters filled with tood, such as California Jack here. It has kind of ugly graphics, and with each race lasting at least 10 laps, tends to overstay its welcome pretty quickly.
It's not the premise here that makes Exertainment Mountain Bike Rally strange though, it's how you play it.
Mountain Bike Rally is the first game designed specifically for the Exertainment system. With Mountain Bike Rally, you are part of the action. You choose a rider, a race course, set your ability level, and you're off. All your pedaling and steering is translated from the life cycle to your rider.
Believe it or not, you can play this game using an exercise bike.
It is one of 2 games compatible with the Life Cycle, an exercise bike add-on for the SNES that allowed players to control games and attempt to lose weight at the same time. The other game was a Life Cycle version of Speed Racer, which was bundled with Exertainment Mountain Bike Rally a little later on.
Seeing how it was massively expensive and being that an exercise bike peripheral is very large, it sold very poorly and was only on the market in North America and Europe for about a year. As such, they're incredibly rare to come across today, with one recently selling on eBay for over $10,000.
Furthermore, Mountain Bike Rally itself is a fairly rare game, selling for over $100 usually. Perhaps strangest of all, though, is that not all versions of this game work with the life cycle. The original 1994 release could only be controlled with the standard SNES controller. The life cycle compatible version wasn't released until nearly a year later in 1995.
Thus, we have a rare game with an extremely rare, clunky and expensive peripheral and not at all versions of the game work with said peripheral in the first place. I mean, holy crap on a bike. That is a risky investment for a pretty crappy game.
Ah, yes. Holy. I think it's time that we get into our next game.
We're going to play another guessing game, okay? So when you think of Wolfenstein 3D, what comes to mind? Killing Nazis? Yeah, I guess. Epic guns? Pretty much. What about the Bible? Or animal care? No, not those last two.
Well, apparently somebody thought a biblical Wolfenstein would be great, because in 1994, the world was graced with Super 3D Noah's Ark. Or perhaps it's Super Noah's Ark 3D. I've heard it pronounced both ways.
This game was made by Wisdom Tree, a company famous, or rather infamous, for their Christian NES games. Now, being the good Christians they are, Super 3D Noah's Ark was an unlicensed game put out on a strange black cartridge meant to circumvent Nintendo's anti-piracy measures.
In order to get the game to even boot up, you have to attach a real SNES game to the top of it, making it look like some sort of weird unholy towering behemoth.
In this game you play as Noah, and instead of gathering 2 of each animal so they can repopulate the earth after the flood, you must instead shoot fruit at insomniac goats. That is not a sentence I'd ever thought I'd say.
Despite this game's absolutely bat insane premise, it's pretty good.
While the graphics are a bit pixelated, on the whole they look pretty decent.
The music is nice and upbeat too, just what you want to hear when you're being attacked by farm animals.
On a side note, why are there so many goats and sheep? I mean, I thought there was only supposed to be 2 of every animal.
Even stranger than that is the backstory, or supposed backstory I should say.
So the rumour goes that Wolfenstein's source code was given to Wisdom Tree by id Software as some sort of petty revenge for Nintendo neutering the SNES version of Wolfenstein 3D.
However, no real proof exists to support this story. Instead, the official story from Wisdom Tree is that the game was supposed to be an adaptation of the horror film Hellraiser.
Developed by Wisdom Tree's sister studio Color Dreams, they licensed Wolfenstein 3D's engine from id Software and also paid $50,000 for the Hellraiser license. Ambitiously, the game was supposed to be released on the NES on a special cartridge that would contain its very own coprocessor.
However, it was highly unstable and the special cartridges were rumored to cost hundreds of dollars each.
Eventually, the Hellraiser license expired and Wisdom Tree decided that production was taking too long. Thus, they shifted development to the SNES and began working on a completely original, more kid-friendly game.
Super 3D Noah's Ark, or whatever you want to call it, is overall pretty good. Certainly not something you'll get hours upon hours of fun with, but overall, it's a good time. Unfortunately, original SNES versions are rare and expensive nowadays. However, it was ported to Steam a couple years ago, and that version is definitely worth checking out.
So it's good to round off this list with a decent game. However, good or bad, all of the games on today's list are definitely oddities.
So with that, I'd like to thank Pug Hoof Gaming for joining us in this video.
And I'd like to thank James for inviting me over. Now, if you want to see more of me for some reason or another, pop by youtube.com/pughoofgaming and enjoy 2 videos a week of retro gaming awesomeness from me. Now feel free to say hello on Twitter and Instagram at Pug Hoof Gaming as well.
And of course, remember to subscribe to Stuff We Play for more dives into the depths of everything weird, adventurous, and retro. We have new awesome videos coming out every week. So with that, thank you very much for watching, stay classy, and we'll see you next time.